What is up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good tonight. I'm going to give everybody a couple of seconds to get ready, and then we are going to get started. By the way, guys, I want to start off with some wins for the week. So, sorry, I'm getting the emails and stuff ready. So if you guys are hopping on just now, or if you're watching the replay, drop your wins that you've had for the past week. And we're going to be getting started here in a second. I got to send out this email real quick notifying people that we are starting, and then we will officially get started, and we'll be going over, can you flip phones full-time in 2022? So this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And let me get this ready. Let me finish this right here. Copy, paste. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And we're getting started, guys. All right, let's go send this out. Drop them wins in the comments. I want to see those wins, guys. Okay, here we go. All right, so guys, on tonight's episode of the Six Figure Flipper Show, I'll be going over 3 basic questions tonight. Does this business work? Will it work for you? And do you need a lot of money to get started? These are the most common 3 questions that I get. Like it's one of these 3, right? It's kind of like, do I have enough time? This, that, and everything else, right? So let me refresh this, and we'll be getting started right now. Okay, cool. Let's go. I want to make sure I can see your guys' comments. See if we got any wins. And then let's roll. If you guys are on YouTube, type your wins as well for the replay. This replay will be on YouTube. All right. YouTube, type your wins. There we go. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's talk about it. The big question everybody's always asking me, right? Can you flip phones full-time in 2022? So I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer, like straight off, and then I'm going to get into these questions. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into, why people ask these questions, right? And then I'm going to give you the answer to those questions, all right? So the main answer to this question is yes, absolutely. There are more phones on the market now than there have ever been, right? Next year, there will be more phones on the market than there were this year, right? So, and something I've noticed, guys, I've run ads for hundreds of people at this point. One thing I've always noticed is there's usually only one phone flipper per 100,000 people. That's just something, I've noticed number-wise, right? So this business isn't even close to saturated compared to many other industries. It's not even close. And it probably never will be saturated due to the amount of phones and devices that are out there. All it really comes down to is the amount of marketing. See, I used to live in an area that had no competition, right? Well, I can't say that. I did have 2 other phone flippers there, but I won, let's just say that. Now I live in close to Houston, Texas, quite a few million people, a bunch of phone flippers. Guys, I just moved out here and I'm about to hit my first $10,000 sale, or at $10,000 in sales in the first 45 days here. That's about $3,000 to $4,000 in profit in my first 45 days here, right? You can only imagine what I'm going to do next month, right? It's probably going to double. So something I've noticed is this business works everywhere as long as you have the right tools to do it, okay? So the answer is, yes, that is the answer. You can flip phones full-time in 2022. You can make a lot more than your job flipping phones in 2022, okay? That is not an exaggeration. I am not lying. That is the thing. Now, I do have to put a disclaimer here. You may not get the same results as me. You may not get the same results as my students. But it really comes down to the amount of work ethic. You can't just post ads and expect, just money to fall in your lap, right? That's not how this works. You have to put in the work. You have to be willing to to make this work, right? It is a business, right? So I have to point that out. I have to put that disclaimer there. Okay. So does this business work? That is the first question I always get. Guys, this question is interesting, right? And the way that I'm going to answer it is interesting. This is the question I get all the time, and it's always, does this business work? I could tell you I've had over 200 students between me, David Kosciuszko's program, and that kind of thing. I could just blast you with testimonies, right? I'm not going to do that though. This business model has worked for thousands of years. It's literally buying low and selling high and keeping the profit margin in between. This business has worked for thousands of years. Okay. So yes, it works, and it has worked for a very long time. Now, of course, they didn't have the internet, 1,000 years ago, but it's still the same concept. You buy and then you sell and then you keep the profit in between, right? That's how the business works, in a nutshell. So yes, this business absolutely works. Okay. Will it work for you? Or will it work for me? Is the question I always get from people. That's usually the next question. So that relies solely on you. Okay. It relies solely on you. I cannot force you to make this business work, right? That is on you. If you want to change your life, you have to do the life changing. You have to put in the work. You have to, you have to do it. So, I can't do it for you guys, right? Like, I can answer your questions, but I can't like help you go pick up a phone, right? Or help. I can help you post ads. I can help you do a lot of things, but I can't force you to do the business, right? I can't force you to take action. That's the biggest thing here. I can't force you to do anything. But will it work for you? That's a question you have to answer on your own. All I know is it works for me, and it works for a lot of other people as well. Okay. And it's not only my students either. It works for a lot of the other people that aren't my students. Okay. And the last question, this is a very common question that I get all the time. Do you need a lot of money to get started? The answer to this is no. Larry, one of my students, this business pays for my rent. Boom. Right. So Larry is a fantastic student, by the way. Larry is just a little background. Larry joined us last year. He was making a couple $1,000s a month in profit a couple months after. He now has also joined in a crypto project that I am involved in as well. And he's killing it there too. Larry is an absolute killer when it comes to business. So I just wanted to point that out. Love you, Larry. Awesome. Good stuff, bro. Do you need a lot of money to get started? This is the question I always get. Guys, I started this business with $200. That's all I had. Also, I lost that $200. So I bought 2 iCloud locked phones, and that's what happened, right? So you don't need a whole lot of money to get started. I've seen people start with $50. I've seen people start with 100. I've seen people start with 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, right? It really depends on, it really depends on what you want to do, right? If you want to grow, you have to be willing to put in the work, right? It doesn't matter how much you start with, all right? You don't need a whole lot of money to get started. You don't need any money to get started, really. You can find stuff around your house that you no longer need. You can sell that and start the business. I had a student in my $7 a month program do that the other day. He had a PS4 laying around that he no longer needed. He had something else laying around that he no longer needed, and he drummed up $300 like that, right? So, and then he started posting his ads. He got some money, so he started, posting the ads and getting started. That's what this business is all about, getting started. I think there's no really answer to this. If you want to make money in this business, you have to be willing to put in the work, right? Anyway, guys, those are the 3 questions that I get asked the most, and I figured I'd hop on tonight for the 6-Figure Flipper show and answer them for you guys. So once again, does this business work? Yes, absolutely. It's been working for thousands of years. Number two, will it work for you? That's totally up to you. That's a decision you have to make for yourself. And if if you want to grow as a person, as a reseller, or whatever you want to grow as, right? I see this business as a stepping stone, right? This business is a stepping stone. This business right here got me into marketing. This business right here got me into crypto. This business got me into all of these other things, right? It's a stepping stone. But I love this business too, right? It's never going away, ever. This is a timeless business that you can make 300 to 500% returns on every single month, month over month, right? So will it work for you? I don't know. I know it works for me, and I know it works for a lot of other people though. So that's the answer for that one. And do you need a lot of money to get started? No, absolutely not. All you gotta do is get started. Sell some things you have around the house. If you have no money, get started and get to work. That's my motivation piece there. Okay, get to work. Does anybody have any questions? If you have any questions, pop them in the comments below. I know there's about a 15-second delay on the live. So I'll wait a couple of minutes. And then, I'll talk about maybe some other stuff if you guys have any questions. But that is essentially Six Figure Flipper show for tonight. I just wanted to hop on and share that with you guys. David says, is there a B2B crypto project? I don't know what you mean by that, David. I don't know, a business to business crypto project. I don't know exactly what you're talking about there. I'm more in the passive side of crypto NFTs. Of course, I barely do anything. All my scholars do everything. Okay, so if there's no questions, guys, I'm gonna kind of wrap it up. If you guys are watching the replay and you guys want to work directly with me, let's just say, you want to skip the learning curve. You want, to just make the money as fast as possible, right? Like Larry here in the comments. Larry's a beast, by the way. If you guys want to skip the learning curve, you guys can work directly with me. I'm going to drop a link in the comments. It's going to be www.resellingelectronicsforprofit.com/workwithchris, or you can just type apply in the comments below. I'll reach out to you. I'll get notified, and I'll reach out to you directly with that. And we can talk, see if you're a good fit. I don't take, by the way, this is something I want to put out there. I have 3 different programs, right? I have a $7 a month program for straight up beginners, people who need help getting started. If you don't have a whole lot of money, start there, right? You can find that in my bio. I have a course, like just a regular course, that people, can use also to get started, just go a little bit faster, right? $7 a month ones to help you get your first $500 to $1,000 profit months. The course is to help you get over $1,000 in profit per month. Now, if you want to work directly with me, that requires an application. That requires, you applying and getting approved to do that. I don't take everybody, simply because I want at least an 80 to 100% success rate for my students. So that's why I don't take everybody. That's the reasoning behind that. Because by the end of the 6 months in that program, I want them to be at $3,000 to $4,000 in profit a month. I don't leave them hanging. I want an 80 to 100% success rate. That is my minimum when it comes to that program specifically. So anyway, guys, I'm going to drop those links in the comments for you guys. I'll drop the $7 a month, the regular course, and then the work with me. I'll drop all that in the comments here in a few seconds. David says, not business to business. I was asking about, no, I don't do anything finance, bro. Well, no, I used to, but I don't anymore. Most of it's Ethereum. But all right, guys, you guys have a fantastic evening, and I hope you guys enjoy the Six Figure Flipper show, and go out there and crush it. See you guys.